Okay, so this is going to be a little bit of a different video because I try to be like in a good emotional space whenever I'm doing a video because how we are can impact people really strongly. And so, unless I'm like kind of mad about something, I'm generally trying to come with like positive emotions. But I've been struggling recently quite a bit. And I was gonna just like mind my business about it until I realized I was like, oh, I don't think this is a kind of depression or grief that, guys, I see if I can keep it together. I don't think this is a kind of depression or grief that I've really ever seen talked about. And then I was like, oh, okay, well, I gotta do a video. So I'm like in it. So excuse me. Uh, so the grief that I'm dealing with is the grief that comes from having given so much for so long to people who take it absolutely for granted. Um, and then who not just take what you're giving, take it for granted, but then abuse you for doing it or tell you that you're failing at it or doing it wrong or something. And so when I'm a lot of the time, with feeling sad, I'm like, I don't have time for that. I gotta like just keep it moving. um and so I don't usually realize I even hate the word depression, but I don't usually realize I'm depressed until I'm like, oh, I'm so tired. I don't even want to exist, right? Like that's the point at which I know like, oh, okay, I might be depressed. um on a side note, the reason why I don't like the word depression is because the first time I saw someone get diagnosed with depression, it was my brother when my dad was abusing us. And I was like, he's not depressed. He's being harmed. Like, what a bullshit diagnosis. So they put him on meds that he didn't want to take. And so, I'm not saying there aren't people who experience depression, but I think that when non-positive emotions intersect with being a victim of abuse, I don't like the word depression for that. Um, Sorry. Anyway, so I was watching these videos. They're like kingmaker videos about, like, oh, women don't be a kingmaker. And again, this isn't just for women, this is for anybody. Uh, but it was talking about how someone pours so much energy and love and support pouring into this other person, and they end up becoming something great, and you're just sitting there. Um, and then they move on, completely having taken you for granted and uh not thank you, sweetie. Completely having taken you for granted, and then they move on to something better. And it's, when you're dealing with people who don't recognize goodness and who don't appreciate um what you're okay, baby, who don't appreciate what you're contributing, um they you supporting them means that they feel that they deserve it and that they are the one who is good. Like, oh, you're giving to me? Oh, I must deserve it. I must be the best. I must be the greatest. This whole thing also is compromised uh by uh, this whole thing is compromised by the fact that, like, I grew up in an ideology that basically is like your thoughts create your reality. Your What you think and feel and believe is what is creating like the circumstances of your life and how you are feeling. So like there wasn't a whole lot of support for grief, for being, let's say, like a victim. And I know a lot of people have been victimized by Christianity. So I understand, like, they have their own intersection with spirituality that um is has been harmful for them. So, my underlying template has always been, I can choose. I can decide. I can decide to wake up and feel like a certain way. M But I think when you've been a victim of abuse and you were conditioned by the abuser, uh, to accept poor treatment and to be in that lower position, to not be respected, to not be cared for or really even loved. And then let's say you carry this out into the world with you and other people treat you that way, and then it just feels like you are being treated by so many people, even if they're not technically like abusing you. It just seems to be like echoes of this thing that happened. So right now I'm trying to learn to uh mentally think differently and be differently in the world and set better boundaries so I'm not having this thing repeat over and over again and just that breaks my soul. Um but no one told me. I did not know. I assumed that if you had children, um that they would love you. And that is not necessarily the case, especially if you have another parent who has been disrespecting you in front of those children, who has talked badly about you to those children. Um, and, maybe the other parent just doesn't respect your gender in general. And so you might have kids who don't, it doesn't seem like they love you or respect you, care about you. And if you've been a victim of abuse or like, you want to do right by them, you want to be what you didn't have, what you wish you'd had. And so I find myself in this place where, so often, not just online, but in real life, people, even other kids are like, "Oh, your son must, your son must love you. I think he has the best mom." And he doesn't. And you gotta get up every day and you gotta keep being loving and you gotta keep pouring into them. And I cry, but I cry by myself. Um, because I remember my mom, we would go visit her because we didn't live with her. We would go visit her and she would say like, "Why don't you love me? Nobody loves me. Nobody loves me." And I was always confused because I was just happy to see my mom. She was dealing with stuff, obviously. So I remember that she would put that on me, and I didn't want to put that on my own kid. So I keep it to myself. And it was really funny because when this was happening before, I feel like my son was 4 or 5 at that point. There would be years, stretches of years where he didn't love me and he didn't respect me. Sorry, sorry. The first Mother's Day gift he ever made, he gave to his father. But you have something you want to achieve and you want to work hard at it and you want to be good at it and you want to be a good person. So um so you do the right thing. And I remember his dad was really upset one time about the way he was talking to me, and I turned to him and I said, "Well, of course, because that's how you talk to me." And to his credit, he never did that again. Anyway, uh not to be depressing, I'm sorry. But I just wanted to talk about that feeling of sadness and grief that comes when you still don't feel like you're not being abused anymore. Not like I'm being abused right now, but the echoes of it are still existing in this place within you where there's deep sadness and where there's harm and pain. Anyway, I will get it together and come back with a better video at some point, but right now this is where I'm at. Anyway, uh I'll talk to you next time.